This time on Cherry Picking, the stray cat lives! Oh, and other stuff. That's right, today on Cherry Picking, we got my 1966 Ford Country sedan running and kind of driving for the first time in many weeks after doing a complete overhaul inside the engine bay, at least complete to the engine. Now, I'm recording this in the future because I didn't know if it was going to happen, but it happened. Plus, we did a lot of other stuff that I was very happy to get done on this car. So, stay tuned and we'll take you back in time and show you all the stuff that we did to this thing. It's pretty good. It's the next day, and we are over here back in our little hidey corner with our 66 Ford Country sedan that we have been tirelessly working on. And it's ready, I think. Don't mind the banging in the background. My dad's fixing an oil pan at the worst possible moment. But this thing's gonna run. Let me show you what we did. Well, at the end of the last video, we could not get this thing running. As you saw, it was just so close, but not there yet. But since then, well, the next morning, I have tidied up a few things. First of all, we have our PCV crossover tube ran. It is tight. It has a hose in the back there. It has a temporary hose right there that will work just fine. We have our brake booster hose connected. We have plugs on our fittings back there, as well as all over the carburetor where we don't need them temporarily. We have our gas line ran to the carburetor with a little metal canister fuel filter because I like running those, just, you know, because sometimes those don't do great. We still have to run our fuel line up to our temporary gas tank because our normal gas tank's not ready. I might have to tighten this belt a little bit, but it's snug enough for now to run. We actually did put on our flex fan. I found this 7-blade flex fan in a shed, along with everything else, along with our fan shroud. And so I actually did put this flex fan on. As you can see, it is really not in a great spot ideally. I have a longer spacer for it that pushes it closer to halfway in this shroud. But for now, this will run fine and it will stay cool, at least cool enough to run. Got a new radiator cap because the old one was, well, garbage. And this right here is our situation for our electronic ignition. I actually have a little bracket, and I'll show you just 2 pieces of metal that are squeezed into this factory slotted space for the battery vent. And if you look from the front, you can see our squish bracket right there. It's literally just squish, and then I have some studs that space it out, as you can see, that still allow airflow to come through here for a battery. But today's batteries are a lot more efficient and less hot than older ones, I'm assuming. So not really worried about that. Our distributor is just kind of sitting in here. It is close enough to get it started. Well, that was tight. So I believe we're at the point of starting this thing. All we have to do is I have to hook up that one hose and fill this thing with gas and put a battery in it, and we should be able to start it. So let's do that. Well, just had to run and grab some coolant just to dump 3/4 of a full strength bottle of coolant in the ground, so that's great. Dumping coolant on the ground is a felony. Yeah, I know. Anyways. So we've got everything pretty much hooked up. We've got our, we've got a leak, I'll tell you that much. Oh, that's because that's not even tight. Maybe I should tighten this water hose. Yeah, that normally helps. Okay, well, this is going to be the first time trying this with the new ignition system. I've got the carb all hooked up. I've got our gas line fed. I probably should set the radiator cap on here. I'll just do that. I'm going to grab the trigger. Okie dokie. Well, I guess there's nothing to do but do it, so let's hook up this battery. Hope we don't start any fires. Can't promise nothing. All right, moment of truth. I really don't like that. All right. Well, now we're just gonna go put the key in and turn it on and see if it lights off. Bring it on. Probably need to put some gas in it. Well, I don't see any leaks so far, or hear any, so I think that's a good sign. Just fill up the bowls and pour some down there and hope it lights. Got more gas. Let's fill up our bowls. All right, try it again. Yeah.
Do you have the key on?
Yeah. You know what, though? It really does seem like it's not getting 12 volts.
Yeah, I'm also wondering if your timing, where your
It
timing is.
can't be that far off. Should be close enough to run. Yeah, it is. It is. Cool. That means it must have picked it up by now. You're going to go all the way in with it?
It's not even touching it yet. Okay, that's weird. Oh, shit. Wasn't the choke.
Is it hitting the bolts?
Uh-huh. A lot.
It's held open.
Uh-huh. God damn it.
Well, it's not hitting that one, though, is
I
it?
know, but it's gonna fall off. Okay, try it again.
Kick down bolts. We're holding the throttle open. If you're following along, we're 180 out.
That was a hot one. And it's... No, don't. Rag.
I only got paper right now.
It's out.
Or is it just dumping fuel? All right, got it running and solved a few things that I'll explain, but I want to throw this guy on. We got it timed, and because I wanted to use this DuraSpark so badly for this and this reason only, and a lot of people are going to think that this is so dumb, and it kind of is, but with these large rotor caps and DuraSpark, you could get yourself, ooh, that's real tight, these cap covers that are made for the DuraSpark, which this one is clearly tight on something. And these are purely cosmetic, but I love the way they look. So I like to run them when I can. I'll plug that back in, and there we go. Now we have our plug wire cover, and it just tidies up the whole engine bay, I think, quite a bit. Is it perfect? Nah, but does it look good? Sure does. Now, in order to start putting our gas tank back in our country sedan, I actually have to clean in here. It's full of a bunch of crap, so we're just gonna oh. That's better. All right, so we have our gas tank here, and we have our new seal, as well as a new filter and a new float that I had ordered. And this has actually taken a lot longer than I expected it to, but they're all here, so now we can put our gas tank back in the car, our clean gas tank. But before we put this sending unit back in the gas tank and put this in the car, I actually do want to test this. Now, because this is a 2-pin sending unit, it doesn't have to ground to the gas tank, which grounds to the body. This can actually just go right on the plug, and then we can check to see if our sending unit works. Now, I do know that the sending unit already has continuity. I've already checked for that, but I didn't get any great readings on the actual level of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in and probably have you guys be my eyes to see if this thing moves at all. So let's see if we have a working sending unit situation. All right, so if you look right in the middle of the screen, you can see our fuel gauge, which has already gone up a little bit. So I already do know it's partially working. I've just plugged it in and it already started working. But our fuel gauge is actually, the sending unit's actually all the way at the bottom. So it should read, hopefully, all the way at the bottom, which it looks like it is. I guess I can see it from here. And if we raise it up, oh, it actually dropped further, and this is actually not all the way at 0. And see, it's not reading very high on our unit. Now, if we go all the way full, what does that read? Okay, it's still going, still going. Come on, keep going. Well, it just went past half, and I don't think it's going any further. Now, this might just need to get some gas in it and wear a bunch, but it does kind of work. We do have at least knowledge that it does go to empty, but I guess it can't be that reliable. If I wanted to, I could rebuild this in the future, but for now, I think that's gonna work fine. Plus, it'll probably fix itself over time. All right, well, since our sending unit, well, kind of works, but I'm really not gonna worry about it too much. I think it'll fix itself. The fact that it's moving at all makes me think that it might fix itself over time. And if it doesn't, well, oh well. I'd rather have the gas tank in the car before having to fix with this, because I cannot buy a sending unit. That is the whole point of having to rebuild this whole sending unit, because you cannot buy these. So if I absolutely have to in the future, I can rip apart one of these guys and rebuild the wiper system inside of it, but I think it'll be fine for now, and I'd rather just get it in the car. So we have our new seal here, which we're just going to put around, and we're going to drop in our sending unit, which has to fish in just ever so carefully. There we go. And then our wiper unit. All right. And finally, we're going to carefully index our unit, just like that. Cool. Now our unit is indexed facing down, which is the way it was when it came out. And we have our lock ring, which I'm just using the original one. Get it started. I'm just going to tap it. Okay, that got it started. All right. Now, there's There's some junk in there still. Oh well, that's what filters are for, right? Cool. So our sending unit is in. That means our gas tank is pretty much ready to go back up inside the quarter here. So let's do that. Now, of course, my camera battery died on me right when I was doing that. Don't even know where it died at, but, well, time has passed because I had to let the battery charge and some things have happened. So while I was so rudely interrupted by a dead battery, I actually went ahead and spray painted our drums, as well as a little bit of our wheel well. I didn't get too much in there. I just wanted to cover up some of the rust. Rust-Oleum helps inhibit rust, so use that. And I painted both sides. I also went ahead and put a new rubber line on our factory nylon line. Need something. I also replaced the old rubber line coming off of our factory nylon line that goes from back to front. Put some new rubber line on it so it's ready to go once we put our tank in. Now, because this car had 3 gas tanks, it actually had a fuel tank switch that switched the flow from all 3 tanks inside the rear seat well. It's still there, but I actually went ahead and took off all of the old rubber lines that were sticking off of it, so now it's just the unit. So when I have the chance to, when I'm ready, I can just unscrew the 4 screws or whatever it is, drop it from the tank, and not have to worry about it. Now, before we get our gas tank in, there is something that I, well, really need to do, and that's shocks. Now, this is currently what is in this driver's side for a shock. As you can see, it's got a helper spring on it, and that would be fine if we still had the 3 gas tanks that were each about, I don't know, 16 to 19 gallons, around there somewhere each. That's a lot of gas, so it really probably needed these helper springs to keep it stable and stiff, but we don't have those gas tanks anymore. We just have the one and the spare tire. So we're putting it back to stock with these guys. Just a standard KYB Excel G. This is basically stock-ish riding shock. Nothing special, but cheapest ones I could find. Gonna put these on. I already did the passenger side so that I can show you what it looked like. So now we just gotta do the driver's side. The bottom bolt, really easy to get to. It's right there. Super easy. Now on the passenger side, there is an exhaust that goes there, so it was hard to actually take off the bottom of it. Top nut is a little bit harder because on a lot of vehicles it actually goes through the floor and you can reach it a lot of times from the inside of the car and put an impact or whatever on it. This is not the case. These actually, the floor is here, and then there's a stamped piece of sheet metal here that is attached to the coil spring pocket. And so the shock goes through that and stops right about there. So you have to get a wrench in there, and you can only go basically a single turn at a time. Not even a full turn, more like a quarter of a turn. It's just how you got to do it. So it took me a while to do the other side. Thankfully, the other side, it was basically finger tight, so I actually was able to loosen it most of the way until the very top where it started to get tight. I sprayed them down with some PB Blaster, hoping to break it apart, and I'm gonna hope it does the same thing on this side because otherwise it's gonna take forever. So now I get to climb under there, lay down, and hold myself up while I carefully undo the single bolt that's on here. Gonna be at this for a while. There she is. Got it. No worry. It only took 10 years. All right. And now we get to pop it off. Ow. Don't worry. We got it. There it is. And now we just get to put the new one on and throw the gas tank in. So And open up our hardware here, in which we don't need about 90% of it. And we'll take our brand new shock and throw on our rubbers. Well, just one, and then the other one go on top, and then it'll get cinched down. And then we can go up here. Oh yeah, knock out the old ones. Yep. Don't need those. And we can throw it up. Make sure to set that on before I forget. Along with throwing on a lock washer and a new washer. And then we'll throw on our new rubber up there, which we gotta pull this down for. New washer and our new nut. Actually spin it on. I'm sure this is totally the wrong way to do it. And then we take our impact and run that down. That ain't going nowhere. That ain't going nowhere. Pull out 40 years and 4,000 miles of spider webs while we're at it. You know, keep it clean. Okay, new shocks on. And now we just have to throw these old guys away. And now we are ready for the actual main event, which is putting our gas tank in. We get to throw our gas tank up in the body, and got to make sure it goes the right way. So it actually, oh, there's a sticker on this. There's protected plastic on my new gas cap. So, as you may or may not be able to see, you will once I start putting it up there, I actually did spray paint the bottom of our gas tank. Just one coat, nothing special, because it was a little rusty, and although I don't think it's, I mean, I know it's not going to leak. There weren't any pinholes when we first washed it. That was something I looked out for. So I know it won't leak. Plus, it also was full of fluid when I took it out. But I don't want the rust continuing to go. And it was a little bit more than just surface rust, which is what we normally get here. This rust was definitely something I wanted to be concerned about. So I just threw some, again, Rust-Oleum. And in case you didn't know, Rust-Oleum is called Rust-Oleum because it has inhibitors inside the magic formula they make that inhibit the rust. So we're just gonna carefully just raise this thing, you know, real easy. So I have no idea how well this is gonna go, and I'm assuming not well, because this thing is sharp and awkward and kind of heavy and still full of some rust, but you know, we're just gonna ignore that. That's what fuel filters are for. Now I know this was a tight fit, and some people have had to okay. Well, that was a mistake. Maybe take the gas cap off before you try to shove it through. Otherwise, it'll get stuck in the, there it goes, hole. And we take our strap and line it up and somehow fish in. All right, she's in. I'm just tightening up our hook here. You just had to get it just right. Okie dokie. It's in. Let's check up here. Yep. Our fuel filler neck is as far up as it can go, I believe. Now, we just have to tighten our hook up. All right, we want it nice and snug. Don't want it too snug because I don't want it too snug because I don't want to snap that strap. But our gas tank is in. All we have to do now is hook up our sending unit stuff, which hooks up just like that, as well as our fuel line, which hooks up just like that, which I need a fuel clamp for, hose clamp. And now our car has a functioning fuel system. Only thing left is to put the panel back on here that covers this all up. Now here's our gas tank cover. This goes on the inner fender well and, well, covers it up. Now, as you can see, it's pretty rusty looking. It's not bad, but it is rusty looking. And that's the back side, which is kind of dirty. Now we're not gonna do the right thing and clean this up at all. In fact, I'm not even gonna prep it because I'm not worried about the rust or anything. I'm just gonna paint it black so it's a little bit less visible. So, I'm gonna do the wrong thing. This is not what you wanna do when building a nice car. But that's not my worry at the moment. So we're just gonna give it a quick coat. Not even gonna try to let it dry. Not even gonna try to do another coat. I just wanted it less rusty looking. And that is fine with me. And I thought I had lost these. Turns out I'm just dumb. I had bagged them a long time ago. Just forgot. Laying this thing up in here. Got it started. Just need to, I can already tell that fuel line's gonna be a little squished. Oop, oop. 2 of them are started. Last but not least, that one. And it's a 3/8. And probably have a socket somewhere, but don't know where it is. So just gonna do this by hand, just like the good old days. That one's already pretty much tight. Oh, in fact, I think I just stripped it out a little bit. We're just gonna ignore that. All right, gas tank officially in. I'm just gonna go ahead and just get another quick coat, not breathe. Woo. Don't breathe that in. Well, our gas tank's back in, hooked up, new shocks, brand new rotors, if you know what I'm saying, brand new wheel wells, heck, new frame even. We just got so much done. So now we're gonna put our wheels back on, which obviously you probably already saw. I guess we can talk about those now. But for now, these are going back on the rear. Get the PB blaster out of here. Set her down. And get those shocks to, the springs to settle a little bit. Oh yeah, it's looking real good. Okay, so a lot of you are probably wondering what wheels we're gonna be running on this 66 Ford Wagon. And what I have on here right now is a set of old 14-inch Krager GTs. I was gonna run these for a while. I thought, I'll just run those. And then, well, I got to doing some looking and a guy kind of decided he didn't wanna run, well, 14-inch tires. It's kind of hard to get good sizes in 14 and it starts getting a little bit pricey for certain wheels that I want. So, this is actually what I came up with. Oh geez. As you may or may not be able to tell, this is a set of 5 Magnum 500s, and these are 15 by 6 and 15 by 7. So not huge, but a good size. I have 2 15 by 7s and 3 15 by 6s. Now, you're probably wondering, 5? Well, spare tire. And to be completely honest with you, I actually purchased these about a year ago, and I originally bought them for the 69 Mach 1 project that you'll see in the future on this channel because, well, I like the look of Magnum 500s. And these, I just happened to get a hell of a deal on them. These are actually blemished wheels. They are from Wheel Vintiques, and I got them through a secondary seller who basically was clearing out old inventory and had all of these blems. He had probably hundreds of wheels and sold tons and tons of them. Most of them he was selling at about $50, $60 per wheel. But it was at the Pomona swap meet. He was the space next to us. We had sold him a few things, and he wanted to not take any wheels home. So he had a bunch of wheels left over, and I was lucky enough to be able to find a full set of 5 15-inch Magnum 500s that are all blems, but for $10 a piece, you really can't beat it. Now, you're probably looking at these, and they probably look fine to you. And, well, most of them are. And really, in fact, the only one that really has a major issue is this 15 by 7 over here, because someone messed up the stenciling on it and messed up the paint. I'm gonna go ahead and clean them up, but for my purposes, I don't need them to be perfect. I guess I'm gonna set this down. I don't need a perfect wheel. I'm not building a show car, I just wanna drive it. So, all of these wheels are true and have no major issues from what I can tell. They're all just paint issues. So I'm gonna clean them up and throw them on. And we actually already have 2 of our tires that just came earlier. And so I'm gonna throw those. Those are the big tires, 255s. Now, when I ordered these tires, kind of thought that I was ordering for a 15 by 7 and a 15 by 8, not by a 6 and 7. So they're a little big. They will fit, but they are a little big. I actually got 255 60-15s for the back and 2 35 60-15s for the front. So the fronts will be a touch shorter, as well as a spare tire, but they'll give a nice big and little look, as well as when I do run these eventually on my 69 Mach 1, these will fit really, really well on those and should already have a good set of tires on them because I'm hoping to do that sooner than later. Now, once that happens, I will have to figure out wheels for this thing, and I do have some wheels in mind. Very expensive in my head, but, you know, I got some in mind. But for now, I'm going to run these Magnum 500 because they're somewhat period correct. So, anyways, after that long-winded explanation, we're going to go ahead and clean these things up. So let's clean them up. Well, it's pretty good, and I didn't show you. I actually went ahead. This is the most expensive battery I've ever bought for a vehicle. I bought an Optima Red Top because, well, I'm hoping it will last well, and, well, I want this to be a nice car, so why not put nice things in it? I also did fix our hood hinge. I don't know if I've talked about it. I definitely did in the past. My dad and I went ahead and spread out the rivets for the hood hinge because it had finally blown out entirely. So we took that one off and hammered it back together. This one is actually, oh, focus. That one is actually starting to go. The one right there in the rear is starting to pull out. So we're probably gonna have to do the same thing to that one. And we found another issue. Our brakes, although our brakes, we redid everything except for the master cylinder. Well, we're gonna have to redo the master cylinder. We actually have a brake leak. Let's see if it'll pick up. Our brake line that comes off of the master right here actually is leaking right at this little curve. You can kind of see how wet it is. So when you step on the brakes, it actually just completely sprays out and hits the back of, I don't even know if you can see that back there, but it completely sprays the firewall, which is a huge issue. So we're going to end up changing the master cylinder because that one's kind of weird anyways. It shoots right out into the exhaust. It's from like a 67 T-Bird. We're going to put like an F100 one on there that goes to the wheel well that way and keep it away from our exhaust, as well as new lines to our metering block. So that's pretty much what's going on. Let's change the fuel pump and put on our kickdown linkage, spring, whatever. Now we're going to go ahead and do our fuel pump first because, well, it's realistically more important. It's also a huge pain in the butt. But I'll show you right here. This is what we need in order for a kickdown linkage to, well, not get stuck down, always kicked down. It is a little bracket with some screws and a hold down and a spring that basically pulls this forward, and you can kind of see here in the carburetor right here, that's where it attaches to. I just happen to not have a single one in all of the Holley parts and stuff that I have, so I had to order one. Let's do this fuel pump first. Now, if you remember a little whiles back when I was putting this thing together, I had said, oh, I bought a fuel pump, but I don't like it because it doesn't have a filter canister, and this one does, and it works, so we're just going to save it. Well, I did have that, and I still do have that, but again, I'm going to save it for a rainy day because considering how bad that gas tank is, and considering how bad this fuel pump may be, I don't want to go ahead and put all that stuff through a fuel pump without a filter, so I was lucky enough that AutoZone actually had one of these. This is just a Delphi. It's nothing special. It probably won't last very long, realistically, because, well, new parts are kind of garbage. But it will be better than the one that's on there that is currently dumping fuel directly onto the ground, completely all the way down there, buried underneath the power steering pump. But we just have to take our hoses off. I'll take the one hose and then take off the two bolts that hold it. Thankfully, they're really simple. I'm hoping I can get in there with this little wrench thing to loosen. Man, again, the heat is just killing my camera, but I've got the new fuel pump pretty much on. I'm actually going to have to use this twisting bar, I think, in order to get this last bolt tightened. It's a very, very tight space. Almost there. Okay, our fuel line is back on, and now the only thing left to do, because of the way we're going to do this, is connect our fuel hose in there. Now that I'm thinking about it, I kind of want to put a filter before the fuel pump so that that nasty rust gets caught before it even gets to the fuel pump. So I'm gonna go see if I have an extra one of these, because I believe I might. Well, as I suspected, I did have one. However, it's 1/4 inch line, so way too loose to work. So I guess we're just gonna run it without a fuel filter, but hey, there's two of them there. So this is the hose that comes from our tank. I don't even know if you can see that. Can you see that? And put this side back on first. All right, our bottom line is on, and now all we have left is to run this up here. Now, if you don't already have a hose trimmer, highly, highly, highly recommend this. This makes your life so much easier when cutting hose and keeps you from having to do annoying stuff. So I'm really just gonna cut, I split it right about there. So I'm just gonna cut right there, and boom, just like that. Makes a quick, easy cut. You're not messing with a blade or anything like that. It just cuts and you're good. I'll throw a fuel hose clamp on there. It's a perfect size. It's just a touch tight. And we will carefully tighten down on this. You don't want to over tighten this at all, because this is clamping just on this nylon line for these Galaxies. So you definitely don't want to over tighten, because they're pretty tight fit from the factory. And there, we have our fuel line, which runs pretty well inboard and away from everything else and away from the heat. So now we just need to put on our kick down linkage. Okay, well, since my camera seems to hate me and everything's just going wrong, I guess, well, we finished up with our fuel pump and I put the bracket on, and it was actually really simple. I didn't realize how simple it was going to be, and I didn't even really fully adjust it yet. Well, I adjusted it, I just didn't tighten it down. But I put our air cleaner back on, our K-Code air cleaner that does not belong in here, but it does fit with our boot. And I have our battery plugged in and nothing lit on fire. So, hoping everything goes well, we're gonna try to start this puppy up for real this time. Now, this thing has not taken fuel at all, in a gas tank at least, since I've gotten it. But now, we have a gas tank that hopefully doesn't leak. I mean, it shouldn't, but now there's really not much in this can. I mean, there's less than a gallon probably, and then whatever's in the other can. But this is the first fresh gas this thing is seeing in at least 20, 30 years. And guess what? It still smells like if this just activated. Oh boy, that just activated all the old varnish that was still in there. This thing's not going to run well for a little while until we put a few tanks through it. That's about it for that, and that's not much. Might have to go run to the gas station and pick up 5 gallons of fuel. And then there's also this, which I don't actually know how I'm going to do this, considering the funnel right here that's clean enough. We'll just... Alright, so that should be like, I don't know, 2 gallons. Oh. So, pretty sure that's all the gas I got, so nothing left to do but to do it. Close that up. Need some pieces on that. Let's see if we can start it. Okay, well, before I was so rudely interrupted again for the 10th time by my camera overheating for some reason, I actually went ahead and got 5 more gallons of gas, let you chill off a little bit. And now we're gonna try to start it. Finally. So, I put in another 5 gallons because I really wanted to dilute that nastiness that's in there. Plus, I just want to have enough fuel to, you know, go places if I wanted to. So, our battery is connected. We have lights. Let's see if we get it started. I did put some fuel down the carburetor before I left, but let's see if it's still there. And, well, we got a fuel gauge. Not much of one. I mean, I put 5 gallons in, and it's at 1/8 of a tank, maybe, so a little low. Let's see. Can we get fuel? Oh. There it is! Look at that! That's foot off. It's idling! Holy crap! It's idling good too. It does say it's hot, and I know it's not, so we might have a short somewhere in our temp gauge. I think we had to have picked up fuel by now. That sounds good. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and let it run for a while, so it can warm up, because I don't wanna try to do some revs while it's cold and fresh with a new timing chain, new oil. Hasn't run well in 30 years, so we're gonna let it run. I knew the exhaust probably wasn't stock. I didn't really look at it, but now that I think about it, there was no muffler. It was a glass pack or something. It was a long resonator. Definitely wasn't a muffler though. Pretty good. All right, well, I'm gonna close the hood and just let it chew on it just a bit. Yeah, a lot of bad gas in there that really seeped into the tank, and now it's gonna go straight into the motor, so let's hope it Let's hope it's diluted a little bit. I may not even do an exhaust on this thing because it actually sounds really good. We'll see how it sounds at highway speeds, because if it's very drony, then I gotta put a muffler in it because, well, I built this thing to cruise around. Okay, just kidding on letting it run. We still have a major fuel leak. I thought it was the fuel pump. I guess I bought a fuel pump for no reason, because that was not it. It is literally the hard line. Must have a crack or something in it, because it is just straight leaking. Kind of knew I needed to make a new one anyways. Well, clearly we got a problem, so I'm gonna have to go in my parts places and see if I can find either a fuel pump with some hard line on it, or a truck or something that I can take the hard line and cut it and use it, because this one's clearly, I mean, I already knew I needed another one because wrench doesn't even fit on it. But, you know, not a big deal, I think, I hope. I hope it's just hard line. Well, it's the next day, and well, we've got a bunch of problems with this thing. Well, maybe not a bunch, but just a few. I've still got a gas leak. Last night I actually went out to one of my parts trucks, stole a fuel hard line off of a 460 truck I had, cut it, bent it, made it work, wire wheeled it so that it was clean, and it's still leaking down there. So one of my fittings definitely just isn't tight. Well, I'm just gonna have to go under, and you might even be able to see it dripping down there. Maybe there's a dark spot. It is what it is. But right now, before I go on to fixing that, I want to go ahead and take off our front wheels, because I want to paint our brake drums. I painted the rears yesterday and let them sit for a while before, or what day was that? Was that yesterday? I guess that was a few days ago now. Well, no, I painted them yesterday, but I put the tires on 2 days ago. But I painted them so that you can't see the rusty drum behind the wheel, because there are slots in these Magnum 500s. So I'm gonna take these wheels off, paint them real quick. I will change out the shocks, which has to happen too, which I kind of forgot about. And then once I have it painted, I'll go address that fuel leak issue. Hopefully I can fix it really simply just by tightening it. I'm just worried about tightening it too much because it's an aluminum housing. So we'll see. And hopefully these wheels and tires will not go back on this car again. Well, now I just got to clean up these rotors, spray them down, change the shocks, fix the fuel leak, finish getting those wheels ready for their tires. And then when the tires get here, putting the tires on, it'll be fun. I gotta admit, I definitely took this one from Puddin', so thanks, Puddin'. Probably the best purchase I ever made. Just mowing them down with the satin black. Rust be gone. I did all that and I'm still gonna give it a shake because, I don't know, habit, I guess. And we're just gonna lay it on. Oh yeah, restore. 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 Oh yeah, brand new. This unit is rebuilt. These are brand new brake drums now. I don't know about you. That looks brand new. We're gonna get in the wheel well a little bit too, since you know, it's a surface rust colored. Yeah, just get the frame there. Just cover up all the imperfections. Just paint over everything. Don't worry about all the grime and grease and oil and everything. Just paint right over it, you know? Worst it can do is fall off, and then what? Looks like it did before. No biggie. I'm gonna throw down a few more coats. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna layer down a few more. Thanks, bro. I'm gonna layer down a few more times, get them situated, and then we'll go on trying to fix that fuel leak that's going on. And then I guess clean the wheels and then probably do shocks last, because I really don't want to do them, but well, they gotta get done. Gotta get done. Okay. Hey, come take a seat. So, I already did the other side so that I could show you. This is what came out of it, and it actually almost didn't come out of its pocket because it had so much dried road grime and grease, and I'm assuming, well, the shock's not, well, okay, maybe it is a little blown because that should be coming back up and it's stuck. Shock's not the worst I've ever seen though, so I don't know if this is all from the shock, but it's pretty bad, and well, new ones are cheap enough. It's gonna help the ride quality a lot. So, just like the backs, what we have here is just a KYB XLG. This is the most factory style, I guess, that you could get. And other side didn't go too badly. However, this side, well, it's got a small issue. One of the captive T-bars for the lower part of the shock is no longer there and was replaced with a bolt and a nut that kind of looks like a J clip. So hopefully that stays, because if it doesn't, it's going to be a real pain in the butt to take it all off. So what I actually had to do is take the screwdriver and pry up on the washer in order to hold it a little bit. And there it is. That wasn't too bad. That might be just enough. Look at that, just enough room to sneak in that bolt, although I have no idea how I'm gonna put it back, but no, that'll be a problem for 10 minutes from now. So now we get to put in our new one, which is gonna suck because now we have to bolt it in. So, yay. But I guess we'll be able to get the other side in much easier, so not a huge deal. Okay. Okie dokie. Back under we go-y. Oh boy, all right. And that's how you turn a 5-minute job into a 2-hour job. When the shock bolt snaps right off. Wow. Wasn't even cross-threading it, just snapped right off. Now I guess I get to find a bolt to replace that with. I'll be back. Now, after dealing with all of the issues, like our shock stud just breaking off, and well, I fixed it with a bolt, no big deal. Our tires ended up coming super late one night, the front tires at least, and the spare. And well, I ended up doing them then and there at that night. It was about 7 o'clock and it was dark, but I got them on, and well, as you can see, they look good. I'm really happy with how these Magnum 500s turned out. And as you can see, this tire still has its blue coating, but I couldn't help myself. And the rest of them, including the spare tire, well, they're all nice and shiny white. Last thing I was going to do is show you how to take off this nice blue coating. It's pretty simple. I've used a few different methods, but this stuff sucks. So let me show you. Now, there's no correct method on how to take off this blue coating that comes on white walls. There's a few ways that I do that I think work best. Now, I don't have the other option with me at the moment because, well, I lost the bottle. But I normally use a combination of soapy water, which is all this is. It's in a Windex bottle, but it's just water with a touch of soap in it, as well as Wesley's bleach white. This stuff is the stuff you want to use if you have white walls at all, because this is what will keep your white walls clean. It is pretty caustic and corrosive, so you kind of want to be careful using it. And the last thing I use, which I don't have here right now, is some Simple Green. And the simple green doesn't help too much, but it does help to take off this coating. But what I start to do is just get it wet. Now you can also use warm water. That tends to help a lot more, but well, I don't want to get warm water right now. So we just want to soak up this lettering. And there's also these orange marks that kind of mostly just spray off. And I'm actually going to end up cleaning the whole tire. But you just want to get it nice and wet and start soaking. Because the minute that the water starts touching it, it's going to start breaking it down just a little bit. And I have here a wheel brush that I've been using. And I'm just going by and scrubbing it down. That's really all it is. It takes a while, but you can already start to see the blue start to come off and go on the tire. And it will not get it all at once, but if I spray this off, you can now see it's mostly white already. This one was much easier than the other ones, and this top might be a little bit harder. Comes off easy, some of it does not. And we'll spray it down. We'll spray this one again and get it wet. Now, as you can see, that first pass, it's not perfect. It still has a bunch of blue on there. Well, we're just gonna keep going at it. It takes a few minutes, but over time, it'll start to wear off. And once most of it's off, that's when you're gonna wanna use the bleach white. And most of the blue goo is gone. And mostly what we're left with is somewhat white lettering. Now, the way this bleach white works is you gotta kind of wipe off your lettering, get it semi-dry, because it will not work when it's all wet. So we're just gonna dry it off a little bit, and then we take this bleach white and I just spray it on, lay it on heavy. This stuff takes a few minutes to kind of burn into the white, but I like to take it, put it on, scrub it a little bit, get it nice and foamy, and then I'll wipe it off, spray it on another time, and do that a few times until I'm satisfied with the amount of white popping from the tires. Okay, and after our first pass with the bleach white, we're just gonna wipe it off, and it did a pretty good job. And as you can see, these tires aren't perfect. They do have some browning in the letters, and that's really not gonna go away. Now I'm just gonna go back and spray some more bleach white. My camera went a little bit weird on me with the focus, but basically just sprayed on the bleach white, and I scrubbed it, wiped it off, sprayed it on again. We're gonna let it sit for a few minutes while I go wash my hands, because a little bit got on my hands, and you wanna make sure you wipe off your hands because this stuff is corrosive. So we're gonna let this sit, and then we'll come back, spray it again, and it should be good. All right, and it's been a few minutes. I'm gonna go ahead, just throw another coat on them just to keep them saturated. And then I'm gonna go ahead and scrub one more time just for good measure. And then we're gonna go ahead and spray it. And now the fun part where we get to wipe it all off. Ooh, baby. That looks good. That's looking real good. Now, if you can't tell already, obviously this bleach white is kind of dirtying our chrome up quite a bit. So my solution for that is just now take your soapy water and spray down the entire wheel and tire. And we're gonna take another rag and just start wiping it down, starting with the chrome. Get that chrome home. Make it clean, make it clean. That's what I never say. But as you can see, it's starting to shine up a little bit, which is what we want. Now, obviously, this chrome is brand new chrome because these are brand new wheels, so there's no major issues in any of this chrome. But if you have some pitted chrome, obviously, well, it's not going to be perfect. Wipe all those spots that we wiped on. And look at that. That's the shiniest wheel I've ever seen. If I ever seen them, that is looking just nice. It's gleaming in the sun. And now, that takes care of all 5 of our tires and wheels. So now, we can go anywhere in this baby, kind of. And with that, this baby's almost roadworthy. In this video, we got new wheels and tires. We got new shocks. We got the engine running, that's probably the most important. We got the engine leaking and then fixed it, and then leaked again and then fixed it again. I cleaned out the interior, you didn't really see that. Put the gas tank back in. That's a big deal. So this thing is this close to being roadworthy. Well, need to fix the master cylinder, but that'll be for another day. For now, it does kind of have brakes. And then a windshield. Once we get those two things, this thing can start cruising on the road. Have no idea if the transmission's gonna be okay. We're just gonna ignore it and hope that it works. But damn, if she doesn't look good with those new kicks of hers. You're looking good. In fact, I haven't even shown you the best part. Boom! We're legal, baby. That's right, original plates and all. In fact, this thing's about to be cruising. Hey, baby, you and your 5 other friends there, you wanna go out for a cruise? What? Oh, there's 2 more of you in the bathroom? Well, don't you worry about that, because we got 2 more seats here in the back for you and your friends. All 8 of us. That's right. This baby's an 8-passenger. What you know about that, huh? What's that? Oh, the hole in the floor. Oh, now, baby, don't go worrying about that. That baby's factory. That's just for some fresh air. You've heard of a sunroof, right? Well, it's like a sunroof, just upside down. When we start going uphill, well, you better put those feet down and start running. You've heard of the Vista Cruiser? Well, this is the Pista Cruiser, 'cause oh, never mind. Okay, I know that one was dumb, but I thought of it, and I thought it was really funny when I thought of it, so I had to put it in. So I apologize, because that was really dumb. That's right. This Dragon Wagon here is the long roof style for you and all your friends. Nah, I'm just playing, guys. This thing has come a long way, especially mechanically, and we've still got a little ways to go, but from here on out, a lot of what we need to do is cosmetic. And although some of you might argue that this big old hole in the floor is mechanical because, well, your exhaust fumes are just gonna waft up in here, and you're right. So we are gonna fix this, but it's sheet metal, so cosmetic. But from here on out, we're gonna be, well, making this baby look brand new. Good old Stray Cat over here is gonna start looking real good real soon. She's gonna start shaping up. We've got a wipe on clear coat planned. We've got a new windshield coming. We got a headliner here, and we're gonna do basically a minor interior restoration, if you can call it that, because we've got, well, a plan for this front seat. Got to fix the front seat and put a cover on it. We got a plan for the dash. I got a plan to do the steering wheel on this thing, which is kind of already there, but need to finish it up. And really, a lot of the rubber and seals I'm gonna try to do on this thing in the future. But for now, this thing's shaping up. So this is gonna be it for today. I thank you for watching. I appreciate all of your support and your watching my videos. And well, this one is a big one for me. And I got a little secret for you. Right now, the plan is to take Stray Cat here on Power Tour West. In December, we are going to be driving this thing as a long hauler for the Power Tour West. Once again, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all the stuff that, you know, helps out here. I appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Stay tuned. This freaking hole is huge. Man overboard.